I read in the comments I don't do enough big SUVs. The dude abides. Here's a Mercedes-Benz GLE.
Mercedes-Benz GLE is a continuation of the M-Class launched in the late 1990s. Actually, it was the ML Class because BMW wasn't too pleased with calling it M-Class. The ML was supposed to replace the G-Wagon, which didn't happen because Geländewagen is still produced and sold in all sorts of crazy versions with large wheels, 6 wheels, 600 horsepower and with prices well north of 200,000 euro. But let's go back to Earth, where mortals buy modest SUVs for 80, maybe 100,000 euro. First generation ML was supposed to be a collaboration with Mitsubishi and based on the Pajero. That also didn't happen, this time for technical reasons, so Mercedes went ahead and designed the SUV on its own. It featured body-on-frame design and it was the first luxury SUV offered with ESP. Thanks to a multitude of airbags, it scored well in crash tests. And of course, ML was quite capable off-road.
Second generation debuted in 2005 and the current third generation of the ML debuted in 2011. Now, if you were listening carefully, you may have noticed I said current third generation of the ML, but this thing has GLE stamped on the back.
As part of the facelift, Mercedes decided to unify its model naming scheme, and so GLK successor is now called GLC because it is sort of based on the C-Class, and former GL is now called the GLS because, again, it is sort of related to the S-Class.
And GLE replaced the ML because, you guessed it, it's about E-Class size.
Along the way, Marek also gave us the GLE Coupe, which competes against BMW X6.
Now that we know what's what, let's look inside the boot. Unless you go for the hybrid, which has a considerably smaller boot due to the batteries, you get 690 liters. Part of it is under the boot floor. With back seats up, coupe boot is only slightly smaller.
Inside, there's just one lousy shopping bag hook and a boot cover that could have come out from a compact Japanese station wagon. There is no seat folding mechanism here, but there's a reason for that. In order to get flat loading surface, you first have to lift the seat and then drop the backrest. I also wouldn't mind a separate button for closing the boot lid and at the same time locking the car. Otherwise, I have to wait for the boot lid to close and only then I can lock the car with a remote key. There is good legroom and headroom in the back. There is several centimeters more than in Lexus NX. This test example has relatively modest equipment, and so there is no third zone climate control, just air vents. Oh, and doors don't cover the sills, so on a rainy day you'll get those designer trousers all dirty. In the front is a typical Mercedes-Benz dashboard. The only modern element is the infotainment display mounted on top of the dash. I know not everyone likes it, but in modern cars there are just too many settings to leave the screen covered, like in the older models, where its main function was the radio. Storage is generous, so are the cup holders, there is a place for your phone and ignition?
Yes, keyless access and ignition are an option. It costs about €1,000, so if you're stingy with the options, you have to turn the key yourself. A bit of useless Mercedes trivia. The first ML had a codename W163. Second generation was W164 and the third generation is W166. That's because W165 was a 1930s Grand Prix race car which won the 1939 Tripoli Grand Prix. After the war, it was supposed to compete in Indianapolis 500, but customs did not let the car out of Switzerland.
Under the bonnet of this GLE 350D is a 3-liter V6 diesel producing 258 horsepower and 620 Nm of torque. This gives it the capacity to tow trailers up to 2.5 tons. It accelerates from 0 to 100 km/h in 7.1 seconds, and Mercedes claims it will do 6.6 liters in combined cycle and 7.3 liters per 100 km in urban cycle.
LOL. 8 liters combined is a good result, and you should get a star for anything below 12 liters in the city. On the other hand, this baby weighs well over 2 tons and is able to move through rough terrain. This car is equipped with optional air suspension, which drops the car at high speed 15 millimeters and lifts it 60 millimeters in off-road mode. With optional off-road package, air suspension lifts the car 90 millimeters, and the off-road pack also comes with locking diffs.
Mercedes press office decided it will be cheaper not to equip this test car with the off-road package so as not to tempt journalists with off-road adventures. So instead of taking the car to my usual location where I can bury just about anything, I decided to drive along a country road with some mud on it. Yes, I shot this back-to-back with Lexus RX. Verdict? GLE drives over this stuff like it was tarmac, but with its hybrid all-wheel drive system, RX started to slip and slide in a few places.
By the way, the mode selector switch could give better haptic feedback. I tend to twist it too far, one way or the other.
In sport mode, the 9-speed automatic transmission works fast, something I haven't said about Mercedes gearbox in a long time. For a 180 cm high and 481 cm long SUV, the GLE can be pretty agile, but then it drinks like a camel, so it's better to keep it in comfort mode and enjoy cruising.
This example has an optional 93-liter petrol tank. When buying a Merc, check fuel tank capacity with your salesman, because I didn't find this in the online configurator. Basically, in some versions, especially in the weaker engine versions, the fuel tank capacity can be ridiculously small. For example, in the Mercedes C-Class basic model, you get a 41-liter tank, and if you specify the bigger tank, you get 60 liters, which is, I mean, come on, you know, it's better for your range. So anyway, this car comes with a 70-liter tank as standard, and if you want to get a bigger one, that's 93.
GLE is well sound insulated and the engine is very refined, there are no vibrations, visibility is fine, seats are comfortable. It's a good Merc, and this is why it costs around 18–19 grand.
It's not the most exciting car under the sun, but that's not what it's for. Mercedes-Benz GLE is a decent SUV to take you comfortably on long journeys. For the city, I'd probably go for the plug-in hybrid, which will be about 13 grand more expensive, spec for spec. And if you want the looks, there is also the GLE Coupe variant. And if you're a footballer, then the 580 horsepower AMG 63S should kill you if drugs didn't already. Mercedes GLE is comfortable, powerful and spacious. Just be careful with the options, because when I started playing with the configurator, I easily reached 100 grand.
And what options would you specify in your perfect SUV? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe, rate and share. New episodes every Friday. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.